For today, we have a very interesting subject. We're gonna talk about famous, brilliant minds, double agents who played important roles in different conflicts during the history. And of course, we can unveil some interesting facts about them. Alright. We're gonna start first with Edward A. Chapman. Edward Arnold Chapman, born 16 November 1914 and died in 11 December 1997. He was an English criminal and wartime spy. During the Second World War, he offered his services to Germany as a spy and subsequently became a British double agent. His British Secret Service handlers condemned him Agent Zigzag in acknowledgement of his erratic personal history. His code name was Fritz. He had a number of criminal aliases known as by the British police, amongst them Edwards, Arnold Thompson, or Edward Simpson. His code name, like I said, was Fritz, given by the Germans. Later, after entering himself to these German contacts, it's diminutive from Fritzchen. And he spied for both from Germans and from British in the same time. The next one is Harold Adrian Russell Kim Philby. And he was born in 1st of January 1912 and died in 11 May 1988. He was a British intelligence officer and a double agent for the Soviet Union. He was recruited by Soviet intelligence in 1934. In 1940, he began working for the United Kingdom Secret Service, SPIES and MI6. By the end of the Second World War, he had become a high-ranking member. During his career as an intelligence officer, he passed large amounts of intelligence to the Soviet Union, including a plot to subvert the communist regime in Albania. In January 1963, having finally been unmasked as a Soviet agent, Philby, with codename Sonny, defected to Moscow, where he lived until his death in 1988. Cool facts. Now, here is a special case because this one, William G. Siebold, born March 10, 1899 in Mülheim, Germany, and he died in February 16, 1970 in Napa, California. He was a United States citizen who was coerced into becoming a spy when he visited Germany after being pressured by several high-ranking Nazi members to become a German spy. He informed quickly the American Consul General in Cologne, Germany, before that the German spy network contacted him and became a double agent for Germans and for FBI, with the assistance of another German agent. He recruited 33 German agents. And in his network, and became known as the Dwakasine spy ring. Well, in June 1941, the Federal Bureau of Investigation arrested all the 33 double agents. They were convicted and sentenced to a total of 300 years in prison. Siebold is known as the FBI counter-spy who brought down a German espionage ring, the greatest. So, that was cool. Here I have a credited photo because this one needed to be credited to the owner. Now, let's move to the biggest mole in the history of US intelligence. His name is Robert Hanssen. Robert Hanssen was born in 18 April 1944 and died in 5th of June 2023. Was an American Federal Bureau of Investigation agent and who spied for Soviet and Russian intelligence services against the United States, and he spied for the Soviets between 1979 until 2001. His espionage was described by the Department of Justice as possibly the worst intelligence disaster in US history. And how he did this? Well, in 1979, 3 years after joining the FBI, Hanssen approached the Soviet Mine Intelligence Directorate, GRA, and offered his services. And he began his first espionage cycle that lasts until 1981. Here he started all the espionage processes in 1985 and continued until the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, when he ended the communication during the Soviet Union collapse, fearing he would be exposed. But he didn't stop, and he restarted the communication the next year in 1992 with the new KGB. Hanssen sold thousands of classified documents to the KGB that detailed US strategies in the event of nuclear war, developments in military weapons technologies, and also the US entire nuclear program facilities. Hanssen was arrested on 18th of February 2001 in Foxstone Park near his home in Washington, D.C. He was sentenced to 15 life terms without the possibility of parole and was incarcerated in ADX Florence. He died in 2023, this year. Good. Now, let's move to the next one. Well, this one has a very interesting story. The next one could be named or called the real James Bond. His name is Dusan Popov or Dushko Popov. Then his nationality was Serbian, and he has a very interesting story that inspired the James Bond franchise. Well, he was born in 10 July 1912 and he died in 10 August 1981. He was a Serbian double agent who served as part of MI6 and Abwehr. Well, Abwehr was the German intelligence network in the Second World War. So he spied for MI6, MI5 and Serbia in the same time, collecting critical information from the German spy network Abwehr. He passed off this information to Germany as part of the double-cross system while working as an agent for the Yugoslav government in London. Popov provided the Germans with misleading and inaccurate information for much of the war. Deceiving them, he diverted hundreds of thousands of German troops and increased the likelihood that Operation Overlord succeeded. Apart from MI6 and Abwehr, he also reported to the Yugoslav intelligence service, which assigned him with the code name Dushko. His German handlers referred to him by the code name Ivan. He was codenamed Tricycle by the British MI5 and Scoot by the MI6. In 1974, he published an autobiography titled Spy and Counter-Spy, in which he recounted his wartime exploits. Popov is considered one of the Jan Fleming's primary inspiration for the character James Bond. James Bond has been the subject of a number of non-fiction books and documentaries. So, this is the real James Bond, or the real inspiration for the James Bond character. Now, let's move next. Oleg Vladimirovich Penkovsky. Born on 23 April 1990 and died 60 May 1963. His codename was Hero. He was a Soviet military intelligence GRU and colonel in the Soviet Army during the late 1950s and early 1960s. While Penkovsky informed the United States and the United Kingdom about Soviet military secrets, most importantly, the appearance and footprint of a Soviet intermediate-range ballistic missile installations and the weaknesses in the Soviet missile program. This information was decisive in following the US to recognize that the Soviets were placing missiles in Cuba before most of them were operational. It also gave US President Kennedy during the Cuban Missile Crisis that followed valuable information about the Soviet weaknesses that allowed him to face down Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev and resolve the crisis without a nuclear war. So, because of this guy, the nuclear war didn't start in 1963. Penkovsky was the highest-ranking Soviet official to provide intelligence for the West up until that time, and is one of the several individuals credited with altering the course of the Cold War. He was arrested by the Soviets in October 1962, tried and executed in the following year. Well, the last one in the list is Juan Puyol Garcia. Was born in 14 February 1912 and died in 10 October 1988. He was a Spanish spy who acted as double agent loyal to Great Britain against Germany during the World War II. When he relocated to Britain to carry out fictitious spying activities for the Germans, he was codenamed Garbo by the British. Their German counterparts codenamed him Alaric, and referred to his non-existent spy network as Arabal. Well, a non-existent spy network, because this man created a fictional spy network only to deceive the Germans. From the course of war, he created a false identity of fanatically pro-Nazi Spanish government official and successfully became and infiltrated as a German agent. He was instructed to travel to Britain by the Germans and recruit additional agents. Instead, he moved to Lisbon and created books and false reports about Britain from a variety of public sources just to deceive the Germans. Well, Pujol had a key role in the success of Operation Fortitude, the deception operation intended to mislead the Germans about the timing, location, and scale of the invasion of Normandy in 1944. The false information Pujol supplied helped pursue the Germans that the mine attack would be in Pas de Calais, so that they keep large forces there before and even after the invasion. Pujol had the distinction of receiving military decoration from both sides of war, being awarded with Iron Cross from the German Iron Cross by the Germans, and becoming a member of the Order of the British Empire. Order. Alright, so I hope you liked these cool facts about, I think, a few of the most brilliant double agents who ever lived. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see next time in another video. Until then, I wish you all the best. Bye bye.